Olá, amigos internautas da TV UFO, Frade Olhar Sobrenatural, EPS Estudo de Pesquisa Sobrenatural. Você sabe o que é engenharia reversa? Você sabe como funciona um disco voador? Pois então, assiste essa matéria e no final do vídeo eu estarei explicando uma experiência que eu fiz em casa, como funciona a engenharia reversa de um disco voador. Acompanhe isso no canal, dê o seu like, se inscreva e desde já eu os agradeço. Um ótimo sábado para vocês.
Sometime later I decided to re-enter and send applications out to several other national labs and also one to Ed Teller, and he gave me a call and he said he might have something that I'd be interested in and suggested that I go for an interview. Shortly thereafter, someone from EG&G called and told me to come down for an interview there. They made it very clear that EG&G had nothing to do with it. They were just using the building as a place to do the interview. After a short time, they said I was basically overqualified for the position, but they may have something else in the future. And I don't remember how much time lapsed after that, but shortly thereafter, they asked me to come down for another interview, and they said this was involving I don't remember their exact wording, but they led me to believe it was a field propulsion system, and of course I thought it was something that, in secret, that we were working on. Later, only did I find out that it was, a back engineering program dealing with alien craft. I flew out of Las Vegas McCarran Airport, and I flew to Groom Lake in a 737 aircraft. We land at Groom Lake, and there's a bus there that drives about 15 miles south, approximately. I'm really not sure exactly how far, down to a smaller dry lake bed known as Papoose Lake. And right up against the side of the mountain is the S4 installation.
And what happened to you first when you entered it? How did they receive you?
It was very military-like. It was certainly not a scientific atmosphere. Very high security. Everywhere you walked, you had to have an escort, an armed escort, even into the bathroom. All doors lock and open with your badge, and it was a very oppressive atmosphere.
How many times did you spend on this atmosphere before you saw the craft for the first time?
I believe I was only there 2 or 3 days, probably 2 days before I saw the craft.
Time, how they are stored, what your impression was, and your feelings when you saw it?
Well, my feelings, it was very I should step back a minute and say that when I first saw the craft the first time, it was walking into the hangar, and my impression was, well, this explains all the UFO sightings. This is just a secret military aircraft we're working on, and that's the end of that. It was actually the second time when I saw the craft, when I got to enter it and look over it, and I finally realized what was going on, that this is an alien craft. And of course this was after I read the briefings, and that was a totally different feeling. That was not a feeling of excitement. It was almost an ominous feeling, that a feeling as if you shouldn't even be there. It's very difficult to describe.
How did it look like?
It looked like, if anyone's familiar with Billy Meyer's sightings, very astonishingly similar to that craft. It was a very sleek, thin-looking, flying saucer-shaped craft. Kind of hard to describe without drawing it, but kind of a typical flying saucer shape.
Did you see just one type or different types?
There were 9 total. I only got to essentially work, back engineer, or analyze one of the craft, but there was a separate hangar for each of the crafts, and each one was essentially different in its visual appearance.
Did anybody tell you where the U.S. Navy intelligence got the craft from?
No. No, not at all. That's a lot of people have speculated about it, that they were either shot down or they crashed, but the craft seemed undamaged, so I doubt either of those would be correct.
Can you describe the inside of an alien craft?
It's very plain. It's all one solid color, a grayish pewter color, the same color as the outside of the craft. There are no sharp corners anywhere. Every device in the craft, the seat, the amplifier housings, everything has a rounded corner on it, almost as if it was all fashioned out of wax and then slightly melted, so everything curved, even where the ceiling meets the floor on the end. Everything has a curve to it. Very, very plain, very wide open, very impractical use of space. And there are 3 levels. The lower level houses the amplifiers themselves that swing, the 3 of them. The center level is where you enter the craft, where the seats and the amplifiers are, and the top level is a small area, and I did not have access to that, so I don't know what's up there.
Do you think they're alien craft or US constructed?
Absolutely alien craft, there's no question about it.
Why?
Well, first of all, the scope of the project was to back engineer it. If they were United States craft, we wouldn't be going backward trying to find out how they were built if we had built them. Second of all, the size of the equipment inside, the size of the seats, the materials that were in use, completely alien to us, pardon the pun, and the fuel, element 115, essentially non-existent. All these factors together, and of course the briefing information stating that they were alien craft.
Could anybody tell you how the propulsion functioned?
Well, that was part of my job, was to back engineer that and find out exactly how that operated. And they had made some progress, but I really don't know how long the craft was there being analyzed, if it was 1 year or 10 years before I got there, but it seems like only a modest amount of progress had been made.
Um amigo curioso internauta, esse é um projeto de um disco voador, como ele funciona, né? Que ele trabalha com a bateria reversa. O que é reversa? É o que inverte ao contrário. No final do vídeo estou fazendo uma experiência com uma lâmpada, uma vela, líquido, a qual eu fiz 3 furinhos na lâmpada, sequência de 6, para quando dá a ebulição da água, ferver a água e girar ao contrário. É onde dá a elevação do giro do disco voador e também o gás que faz ele flutuar. Acompanhe-se no canal e se inscreva, e desde já vos agradeço. E agradecemos também a Nikola Tesla, que passou esse conhecimento dessa versão física para a gente. Então é assim que funciona o disco voador. Então, amigos curiosos, aí está a experiência. Agora, dê o seu like, se inscreva no canal e você entenderá como funciona o giro de um disco voador ou um OVNI, né? Sob pressão de ebulição ao contrário e o vapor que faz generar os gases para ele girar em torno ao contrário. E também a sua elevação para o ar com os gases que são expelidos pelo ar. Até a próxima aventura e um abraço.